Welcome to a CBC News World documentary presentation. I'm Mark Kelly. Sai Baba is arguably India's most popular Swami, or spiritual leader. He has an estimated 30 million devotees spread around the world, including here in Canada. He's someone who is credited with many charitable works. However, since the late 1990s, people have come forward with allegations of sexual abuse leveled against Sai Baba himself. This led the BBC to investigate these allegations in the documentary The Secret Swami, which has already been broadcast in a number of different countries. Since word spread that CBC News World was planning to broadcast this documentary, we have received hundreds of appeals for us to stop tonight's broadcast. Appeals from supporters of Sai Baba who refute these allegations and point out his charitable work. We at CBC News World have decided this is an important investigative documentary that should be seen in Canada. We stand by the journalistic practices and integrity of our colleagues at the BBC. Here now is the documentary.
"5 a.m. and these devotees have been awake for hours. In this holy town, an auspicious day is about to dawn. These people are followers of India's biggest spiritual guru. For them, he's an avatar, God in human form. Like them, I've come today because he's promised to perform a rare miracle. As the sun finally rises, thousands are flooding in. Some have even waited all night. As he approaches, a wave of excitement ripples through the hall. The atmosphere turns feverish. These people are about to look upon the face of their living God. Swami Satya Sai Baba. There's no shortage of God in the American Midwest, but even here, Sai Baba has made inroads. During the 90s, this isolated corner of North Arkansas was the model Sai Baba commune. It was run by Al and Marissa Ram and their family.
This is incredible, Al.
This is where we lived, and also we kept it as we planned it as a center for the community. And
this was the house you were saying that you all built?
Yeah, we built this, our family built this. And a lot of friends who would come out.
We became the Arkansas Sai Baba Center.
You cut down the trees?
Meaning that it was a spiritual community based on the teachings of Sai Baba and with guidelines that had to do with vegetarianism and...
We did study groups. We studied Sai Baba's teachings. It was the family home. But since it was the largest home on the community, we had our devotional singing here every Thursday.
At Shivaratri, people would sing all night. We would have...
How were you brought up to see Sai Baba when you were a child?
As God. Pretty straightforward. God in human form, the avatar. And I didn't really understand too much of it, but that was probably one of the main things that kind of made me feel a little excluded from most of the quote-unquote normal kids going to school and going to church, is that the fact that my family and a bunch of other families who we were associated with believed that there was a God in human form on earth now.
We believe that Sri Satya Sai Baba is Jesus Christ. Sri Satya Sai Baba is Buddha. Sri Satya Sai Baba is the founder of all of the world's religions. Sri Satya Sai Baba has always been God.
Satya Sai Baba says, whenever you see a sick person, a dispirited, disconsolate, diseased person, there is your field of service.
Today, Dr. Michael Goldstein is the guest of honour at this British Sai Baba function. He's the international chairman of the organisation and a man close to Sai Baba personally.
I submit to you that every man and woman, all of us, are spiritual seekers. I had no sense of purpose in my life until I went to see Satya Sai Baba. In 1975, my wife and I went. We had the good fortune to interact with Satya Sai Baba. I looked into his eyes and I lost all sense of individuality and became immersed in what I felt was an ocean of love.
The Ram family also became close to Sai Baba.
So, what's down here, Al?
Well, this is a shed where we keep, various tools and supplies, and we have a box in there that contains all the stuff that Baba gave us that was supposedly materialized, including robes. Check it out. That's what any devotee would want.
Yeah.
This is at the height of your closeness to Sai Baba.
So these are two of the three robes that Baba gave us. Baba gave one to me, he gave one to Marisa, and he gave one to Alaya.
A robe like the one he wears.
That he wore.
He's already worn. Yeah. Actual size, actual everything.
I've always been fascinated by the holy men of India, the swamis, yogis and gurus. They're part of an ancient tradition here. And then there's the God-men, human beings who declare themselves divine. With an estimated 30 million devotees spread across the world, Sai Baba is India's biggest God-man, and its most controversial. For years, he's been surrounded by scandal, yet his popularity shows no sign of falling. So I've come to this Sai Baba wonderland, Putta Party, to explore the enigma behind the public face.
Swami, watch it. There's not the slightest doubt that he is the most popular of all the God-men and God-women we have today. And you can't ascribe it to a kind of publicity campaign, because there's never been anything of the kind. You don't see any advertisements in magazines or on TV or anything. It was like Gandhi. He never had any, and yet he had this suddenly by word of mouth. It was all over the country as the great Mahatma.
Sai Baba's followers now come from over 165 countries. Western devotees have always flocked to him. Many devotees came from that mecca of counterculture, California. It was the late 60s, and the spirit of the age was revolution. The hippie generation sparked up, dropped out, and partied. It was also in California that Al and Marisa first met.
I was living the high life. I was in Hollywood meeting some of the top stars and thought it was all quite exciting, but at the same time, I was also pretty unaware and pretty drugged most of the time. I was just partying. Life was about beauty, being young, being famous in Hollywood, and becoming a star and being noticed.
As love and peace became the slogan of the times, many embarked on a journey of spiritual exploration.
I was on the opposite end of the spectrum. I was motivated by spiritual pursuits. I was considered myself a yogi. I mean, I was doing yoga and meditation, fasting, and spiritual experiences.
Drawn by gurus like